Hi, hope you all are doing great today, starting with another Everett quote today. We all have dreams, but in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, self discipline, and effort. Said by Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens was a track star. He won 4 gold medals in the 1936 Olympics. And this quote explains it. You have to be determined. So you got to show perseverance, can't give up. Dedication, you got to dedicate yourself to it, can't give up. Self discipline, even when it gets hard, can't give up. Your effort, if you put your effort into it, you will make progress. Effort. Okay, moving on to what we're going to talk about in language today. I'm going to review for you the capitalization rules that we've been talking about because tomorrow you'll be taking a quiz on our capitalization rules. Number one, always capitalize the first letter in a sentence. In this sentence, the race begins at 7 a.m., you would capitalize the T in the. So always start with a capitalized letter in your sentences. The pronoun I. Sometimes we want to use a lowercase I for the pronoun I. When I say I like ice cream, that's not right. We got to use a capital letter when we're referring to ourselves. I, the pronoun I. My sister and I will run in the race together. Rule 3, always capitalize the names of days, months, and holidays. Not seasons, though. So you would capitalize words like Saturday, Tuesday, Monday. You would capitalize the names of months like June, July, April. You would capitalize holidays like Easter or Thanksgiving. You would start with a capitalized letter. You do not capitalize seasons like spring, summer, fall, winter. You do not capitalize the names of seasons. Rule number 4, you capitalize proper names of people, places, and things. We talked about proper nouns are specific names like Angie. So you would capitalize people's names. So in this example, it says, Angie will meet me at Owl's Market before the race to buy Gatorade. Okay, so Angie is the specific name of a person. Owl's Market is the specific name of a place. And Gatorade is the specific brand name of a drink. So those words would be capitalized. Also, we've talked about titles such as Principal Brown would be capitalized. You'd capitalize principal if that is you were calling her by that name. Now, if you're just saying my principal is nice and referring to her, you would not capitalize principal. But if you're using it as part of a name, as part of a title, you would capitalize principal. Same thing as captain. If I'm saying that ship has a captain, I'm just referring to the captain. So I would not capitalize captain. But if I said Captain Smith is the captain of that ship, then I would capitalize captain when I say Captain Smith. Number 5, greeting and closing of a letter. So when you say dear Angie and Emily, you of course would capitalize dear and then of course their names. You would also capitalize the closing of your letter, like love or your friend or sincerely. You would capitalize those words. And of course, you'd capitalize your name in your signature. Rule number 6, person's initials and abbreviations. So like the D in doctor, your middle initial, the first letter of your middle name, you would capitalize. Rule number 7, you capitalize names of streets, cities, states, and countries. The race is on Palm Tree Lane. There's a name of a street. In Palm Springs, there's the name of a city, California. And of course, you would capitalize United States of America. Now, there's something to be noted there. In United States of America, you capitalize the U in United, the S in States, and the A in America. But you do not have to capitalize small words like a, and, the, or of. Okay? And that also goes for titles of books, poems, movies, songs, and plays. We read the book Radical Running to prepare for the race. So, Radical Running is the title of the book, and you would capitalize both of those words. However, if you were talking about capitalizing the title Put Me in the Zoo, you would just capitalize P in put, M in me. You would not capitalize in and the, but you would capitalize zoo. So in titles, you would only of anything, titles of countries, titles of books, you would not need to capitalize those small words like a, and, the, or of. Okay? So there's a review of our capitalization rules. Now let's talk about what we've been talking about in a reading. And the first thing I want to do is go over the vocabulary. So remember, a fact is something that's true, it's proven. An opinion is the opposite. It's a belief that somebody has. It's personal to the individual. A bias starts with an opinion because a bias is when you only tell one side of an issue because of your opinion. So, a bias, you're only going to tell one side. You're only going to tell the positive things about your side of the issue. You're not going to tell any of the negative things. You're not going to tell both sides. You're just going to tell the positive side. Remember, on the playground, if two people got in a little tuffle, they went to the principal's office, they're both going to tell their side of the story. So their side of the story is going to have their bias. The only neutral source of information on that playground is the camera, because the camera sees every event that happens, the camera's not just telling it from one side. Okay? So remember, a bias is when an issue is only being told from one side, or a story's only being told from one side. So a claim is the same thing as the author's perspective or opinion. It is how the author feels about the topic. So remember, when we've been identifying claims in text, a claim is the opinion sentence. A claim is the opinion sentence. So it's going to have words like should, most important, best. It's going to have words like that. Those aren't the only words, but those are some big ones, especially should. Then the author is going to provide you with evidence, reasons why their claim is correct. So then you got to talk about a counterclaim, which we've been talking about a lot. A counterclaim goes against the claim. Like a claim would be, you should like the UK Wildcats. The counterclaim would be, no, you should like the U of L Cardinals. The counterclaim is the claim that goes against the claim. It's the other side of the story. So that's what a counterclaim is. Okay, this explains a little bit more. It's an objection to a claim. It is opposing perspectives, so opposing thoughts, taking a look at the other side of an issue. Okay, an example would be perhaps Susie has chosen to open 3 credit cards in order to establish a positive credit history. Now, the other side of that might be Susie should not get more credit cards because it could ruin her credit history. So think about 2 different sides of an issue, like, 2 opposing teams. It's 2 sides of an issue. We talked about generalizations. Generalizations is when you make an assumption about a whole group based on a little bit of information. You might see words in these generalizations like some, most, might, sometimes, often, probably, typical, many, rarely, and few. Like most babies love Cheerios. Just because I saw 2 or 3 babies eat Cheerios really well, I made an assumption that all babies must love Cheerios. That's a generalization. All or most babies must like Cheerios. So that is an example of a generalization. Stereotypes take it a little bit farther than a generalization. It's a kind of generalization that is mean. Specifically, a stereotype is a belief that is often unfair and true about a group of people. Stereotypes aren't always mean, but lots of times they're mean, but a stereotype is always not to be trusted, is what I should say. But most of the time, stereotypes are mean generalizations. That's what they are. So let's look at some of the stereotypes of teachers. And I won't do all these because I know I did them in the last video. But what are stereotypes of teachers in books and movies? Well, teachers are horrible. Teachers are boring. Teachers are strict. That they don't care. That they're bossy. That they're bad. And that students dislike their teachers. Those are stereotypes. Not all teachers are like this. So basically, I hope not any teachers are like this. But what we're doing here is we're looking at how teachers have been projected in movies and stories in the past, and we're making an assumption about all teachers. That's mean. So that's an example of a stereotype where you take, again, just like a generalization, a little bit of information and you make an assumption about a whole group, but a stereotype is specifically a negative assumption, something that's mean. Negative means mean, right? So that's what a stereotype is. Now, looking at your, excuse me, your capitalization quiz, here's what it looks like. Name, and then talking about basic rules, which I just went over that we've talked about in your assignments as well. So, which of the following should always be capitalized? Select all that apply. So, you're going to check as many things here as you think are things that should be capitalized. Okay? Then you're going to start answering questions. Which sentence shows correct capitalization? So, for example, I show you sentence 1, 2, 3, 4, or none of the above. So I'm going to look for which one is capitalized correctly. Well, right away, the first letter of the sentence is not capitalized. Can't be sentence 1. Number 2, right away, I see Tuesday is not capitalized, and that's the name of a day. So I know that can't be it. Again, 3, I know 3 can't be it because, again, the first letter of the sentence is not capitalized. Let's look at number 4. On Tuesday, I went to the park with Jerry. Okay, well, the first letter is capitalized. The name of the day, Tuesday, is capitalized. The pronoun I is capitalized. And this proper noun, Jerry, is capitalized. It is sentence 4 for number 1. So that's how you're going to do the capitalization quiz tomorrow. Now, what about our author's reasons test? Well, I made it just like the assignments we've been doing. I made it just like the assignments you've been doing for a reason, because I knew that doing that, my expectations would be clear. Can you submit this more than one time? No, I'm going to take your first submission since this is a test. So please give me your very best work the first time that you turned it in, because I let you redo practice assignments, but not test, okay? So you would, step 1, please read the passage. You can click on the magnifying glass to zoom in. Of course, the magnifying glass is right here, and you can click there to zoom in. You can either go to 50% or whatever is comfortable for you. So you would read this passage, and then you're going to answer these multiple choice. So it says step 2, please answer the questions and underline the evidence for each question in the color of the crayon next to the question. Each question, numbers 1 through 4, are worth 20 points. 10 points for the correct answer and 10 points for underlining evidence. Okay, so the red crayon is what you would underline evidence for number 1 in. Now it says, which sentence expresses the main point of the article? Of course, that is claim. What's the claim? What's the main claim in the article? And you would use the shape tool. So I know that I saw some people maybe who had kind of missed my first video on using circles to circle their answer. So I wanted to go over it now. So in order to circle an answer, you go to shape. You choose shape. You can choose any of these shapes that you want to. I'm going to choose the circle. This is not the correct answer. So don't think that I'm circling the correct answer for you. You need to read it and decide if that's the correct answer. But I just drew the circle, and then I'm going to go to the bucket, fill color, and I'm going to click transparent. And there I have my answer circled. So just to go over that again, I'm going to go to shape, shapes, go to the circle, draw the circle around my answer. And then I'm going to go to the bucket, click transparent, and then my answer is circled. So please circle your answer for the questions 1 through 4 and underline evidence for every question. Let me say that again. Underline evidence for every question. This question, please underline it in red. And I know a lot of you know, but to get a red line, you would just draw the line, and then you click on line color, and you can click on the red. Bam, you got yourself a red line there. So that's how you underline in color. Now I want to point out to you, in some of these questions it says choose all that apply. So you're going to circle more than one answer for number 2. Okay? And then it says, read the following sentence from the passage. These mammals were separated from their families. The author uses this sentence as evidence to support which of the following points. So you're going to circle one answer for number 3. So just to review, one answer for number 1, more than one answer for number 2, one answer for number 3. Number 4, look at the table below. Which of the following sentences should go in the box? And it says choose all that apply. So more than one answer for number 4. So whenever you see choose all that apply, you're going to circle more than one answer. So that's on questions 2 and 4 here. Okay. Last thing you're going to do for your author's reasons test, step 3, complete the short answer question. This question is worth 20 points. Follow the short answer checklist to get full credit for this question. So you're going to read the question. You're going to follow this checklist. If you restate, you get 5 points. If you answer the question completely, you get 5 more points. If you cite evidence from the text and start that by saying, I know because the text says, and then use quotation marks around what you quote from the text, you get 5 more points. And especially if you use quotation marks, you get even 5 more points from that. So that would be 20 points total. I know you're going to do great. If you do have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.